video is going to examine some polyatomic ions and how their names can change when they either gain or lose oxygen atom. Okay, so let's take a look at an example here, and we're going to use sulfates. We're actually going to start kind of in the middle of this. We're going to look at the normal number of oxygens, and there's an SO4 with a -2, and this is called a sulfate. Perhaps you're familiar with this polyatomic ion already. Well, there's a couple of different things we can do to it. So the first thing we can do here, and I'm going to call this number 2, is we can actually take an oxygen atom away. So we no longer have SO4, what we have is SO3, still with a -2 charge. And our name is going to change now. We're no longer talking about a sulfate, we're actually talking about a sulfite. Another thing we can do is take away 2 oxygen atoms, we'll call this the first one. And so instead of having SO4, we now actually have SO2. You'll notice that we still have a -2 charge. The name of this SO2 -2 molecule is actually called the hyposulfite. So one thing that is okay about this is that both of these molecules end in "ite" and they're both kind of together. So there's one more thing we can do. We'll call this number 4. We can add an extra oxygen atom. So instead of SO4, now we're talking about SO5. Notice they all have a -2 charge. And this one is called a persulfate. And I'd like to point out here that both of these molecules end in "ate." So we can take any polyatomic ion, whether it's a carbonate, nitrate, chlorate, phosphate, or the previous sulfate, and you can change these. So you can have any kind of "ite" endings, hypoites, perates. Let's take a look at a couple of examples here. So firstly, NaNO3. So the first part of this, the Na, should be nice and easy. That's just sodium. Now the next part, we're used to seeing this as NO3, nitrate. We've lost 2 oxygen atoms here, so we're no longer talking about a nitrate. We're talking about the hyponitrite. So just this little root word is going to change from our previous slide with the sulfate. Let's take a look at another example, AlPO5. Al is of course aluminum. PO4 would be phosphate. This has an extra oxygen to it, so this one is going to be called a perphosphate. And in our last example here, we've got CaCO2. So we've got calcium. And CO3 would be carbonate. This has lost 1 oxygen atom, so now we're talking about the carbonite. So thank you for watching this video.